So many of us right now are missing the theater. I miss being at rehearsal. I miss the friendships that are made. I miss being on stage and having an audience and hearing that audience for the first time. There's nothing like it. I feel like when I have theater in my life, it not only gives me that creative outlet that I need, but I come home from rehearsals and shows being a better person. I'm much happier to be around. I feel like I'm a better mom to my kids. I'm a better daughter. I put a lot more into this world when I can get a lot more back from the theater. A lot of us are really struggling right now, but I'm very thankful that many theaters in Michigan, especially the Dial, are doing things like this concert to help its artists, to help us have an outlet, to help us have some way to release, what's going on. And I'm happy for you too, as audience members. I know you're really
the reason I miss theater right now is because it's a chance to let go in a process where you have to rehearse and learn to take on somebody else's life. It's a way for you to forget about the day, and focus on something else, and also to be able to create art with a community and share that art with the rest of the community is amazing. And it's also another outlet to share what's going on with the world, to share different stories and learn from them. So that's what I miss about theater.
Oh my gosh. I never even imagined that there could be life without live theater. And yet, here we are. I miss it. I miss being able to go into a rehearsal and work with people on common goals and with the same kind of passion that we all share to try to make the best production possible. And becoming a character, taking on that role and being that person, at least for a while, and seeing it all come together. It's such a treat and such a high. And then we take it to the audience and we listen for the laughter, or we sense and see the tears, and we think perhaps this has really made a difference in their life for that day. Oh my goodness, I do miss it.
I miss being able to take something that has been done sometimes hundreds to thousands of times, but to make it uniquely your own and your cast's.
I miss about live theater, absolutely everything. But most, I would say, I miss the actors and I miss the creative team. I miss all of these people coming together, people that are so different, that come together and sometimes they don't even know each other, and they make something beautiful to share with audiences. I think as a person and as an actor and as everything, you have days when you just have a really hard day and you sit there and you wonder, how am I going to go out there and perform for an audience later? And then as soon as you walk in the door, everything changes. You're around all those other people that you love, and you get out on that stage and you feel the energy in the audience, and it's just electric and it's beautiful, and you leave feeling like you did something. You created something that day. You did something that you were proud of, and hopefully you made people happy. So that's what I miss about live theater the most, and I can't wait until it comes back.
I miss theater so much right now because when you go on that stage, you leave all of your baggage at the door and you are that character for just a few minutes. And I think that's what we all need right now.
Theater has always been this safe haven, and I think that's why, for at least actors and the creative team members, I think that's why it's missed right now, because theater has always been a place where we can just escape, where we can be ourselves without having to hold back. It's a place to let our emotions out, to get lost in the content that we're working on. And I think even our audience members can agree that get lost when they come and see our shows. They get lost in a place, in a time, in a character's story, and just forget about everything going on around us. So I was assistant directing Head Over Heels when everything kind of started shutting down and whatnot. So it was a nice escape for a while, and unfortunately that has been put on pause. But it's very missed, and I'm looking forward to the day that we can all be in the theater.
There came a moment in my life when I realized that a part of me was missing. I'd always enjoyed singing. I loved being in band, and I liked performing and competing, but I was never 100% happy. It wasn't until I joined theater that I realized that that was the piece of me that was missing. Theater gave me so much of myself. I gained so much confidence. My social skills shot through the roof, and I became less fearful to try new things. I literally owe theater everything. I miss singing with my friends. I miss being inspired by them. And I just miss creating experiences that I will remember for a lifetime. And I cannot wait to get back to it.
So what I miss most right now about the Dio are the preview nights, where we got to see a sneak peek of the show that they were working on. And we got to watch the cast and the creative team really sort of shape and mold that show that was going to be opening up. And I would get to meet and talk with all of the donors in person and thank them. And so I really miss that.
Theater is our escape. Whether you're on stage, backstage, in the audience, it's a chance to be someone that you're not, to see a different side or a different perspective on things, to learn about different cultures, different stories, to just dive into the lives of other people and just enjoy a few hours of fantasy. And without it, we're just stuck in reality.
Being up on stage in front of a live audience is an experience and a rush that cannot be duplicated by any other means. Knowing that I'm up on stage and I have the power to make somebody laugh, or perhaps wrangle a tear from their eye, or maybe even change the way somebody thinks, it's amazing. And knowing that that experience is unique to each audience member is also fascinating. It's immediate, it's ephemeral, it's like a wisp of smoke. It's there, and then it dissipates. And it may linger in the room for a while, but that experience happened one time, on one moment in time, only to be remembered by those that experienced it.
I owe a lot of great things that are in my life to the theater. I have made so many friends and family through the theater. Growing up, I started at a young age, and it was just a fun hobby for me. And as I continued to do it, it became my safe place, and then very quickly became my home.
I love theater because it is inspiring. It changes people's lives. It's a window into the human experience, and can change people's minds and change people's lives by just 2 hours in the theater. It can inspire kids, it can inspire adults, it can move people to tears. I love watching it because it motivates me to be better, and it changes my mind about things. I love being in a show because it makes me feel a different sense of accomplishment and alive, being alive. And the best thing about theater is when you're done and someone from the audience comes up to you and says, "Thank you, I needed that," with tears in their eyes. That is why I love theater.
I feel alive when I'm on stage. Right now, I'm working on my singing, dancing, and acting from home. Without the reaction from the audience and the support from fellow cast members, it's just not the same. When it's finally safe to go back on stage, the thing I'm looking forward to most is being able to sing with families. I will never take the opportunity to be on stage for granted ever again.
I miss the Dio so much. I'm on vacation in the UP and I was sitting out on the deck listening to a recording of The Hunchback of Notre Dame. This brought me back to our production, which I thought was one of our best. I ended up listening to the end and relived the whole show, including the costume malfunctions. I miss watching Steve direct. I miss watching Matt do his magic with sets and lighting. I miss working with the actors and getting to know them. I miss envisioning and creating costumes for the shows. I miss watching the shows and feeling that we together have accomplished something significant. I miss working at the Dio so much.
Hi guys, this is why I'm excited to get back to theater next year. It's because I really miss my friends. And I miss being at home working on lines, and I miss bringing a character to life and singing, and I miss Matt's beautiful sets and lights. I miss being at the theater, the Dio in particular. It's my favorite theater, favorite place to work. I miss waiting tables. I miss seeing all of the patrons and hearing what you think about the shows and what keeps you coming back to the theater, to live theater. And that's why I think live theater is going to be around forever, because it's so compelling and there's no experience that's quite like it, like being all in the same room together and telling the story and living the life of the character in real time, and the audience is right there with you. And so I can't wait to get back together, hopefully next year, and celebrate life and do some great theater and just have a blast, hang out with our friends and make new friends.
What I miss most about theater right now is all of those laughs in rehearsals. It's through those funny moments and that collective storytelling that we can better grow to understand ourselves and each other.
I love that theater is a creative space full of diverse talent, opportunities, perspectives, and ideas. The family-like community that's created with each project is so unique, and it's like nothing else I've ever experienced before. I'm really missing those families right now, but I know it's only a matter of time until I get to see them again, and I am so looking forward to that moment.
In the summer of 2013, I made a life-changing decision and moved from my home in Houston, Texas to Michigan to be closer to my daughter and her family. I got enormous joy from having grandchildren to love on one-on-one. But the other thing that happened that brought me enormous joy was a lovely, charming young lady I met called Mrs. Tottendale from The Drowsy Chaperone. You see, for years I had been an actor, singing and performing on the stage, but through life circumstances, I had to put that on a hiatus that lasted about 40 years. But Mrs. Tottendale lured me out of retirement and brought me back to something that I truly loved. She lit a fire in me. You see, that's what happens to actors, is that they don't do what they do because they want to do it. We do it because we need to do it. That's why this time of separation from you is so difficult, because we need to be with you. But just rest assured that there are lots of stories to be told, and we are ready to tell them. And we are ready to tell them to you.
What I love and miss about live theater is its immediacy. There's a power of presence. When a show like Cabaret deals with difficult topics, uncomfortable subjects, you can't close the book or change the channel or distance yourself from what's going on. Both as an audience member and as an actor, you're kind of forced to process it and to deal with it, and maybe to find a perspective that you wouldn't normally have found. And I think that's where live theater gets a lot of its power, and I think that makes it unique.
I miss theater so much right now. I think what I miss the most, like most performers, we feel like it's in our DNA, singing and acting and dancing, sharing our work with an audience, being able to have an audience change their perspective on something or fall in love with a new show or music. I miss that. And one of my favorite Dio memories has to be when we were all sitting around singing the entire score of Bridges for the first time. goosebumps. It was beautiful, and not only were we working with extremely talented colleagues and actors and performers, but it was like a family feel, and I can't wait to get back into the rehearsal room with my friends and colleagues and make art again. And that's gonna be a great day.
Hello. Well, I obviously miss theater like crazy, but I will say that I am making pretty good use of my time away. Wouldn't you say? Yeah, it's pretty cool. But what do I miss? Oh my gosh, I miss like that moment in rehearsal when somebody just absolutely nails something and it is so brilliant and everybody cracks up, and then you just pray that you're not going to laugh on stage every night because you're so impressed with your co-stars and how freaking fun they are. The adrenaline rush after working tables and you got like 5 minutes to get out of that, get into your costume, get on stage, and your heart is thumping, and oh my gosh, it's time to go. And what else? Oh, and Matt Tomich, getting disgusted with us and heaving a heavy sigh and saying, I hate actors anytime somebody busts a prop. That's pretty awesome.
Thank you to all of the actors and creative team members who shared their thoughts with us for this video. Here's the good news, guys. To our actors, to our creative team members, and to our audience. We're not going anywhere. We are confident that we are going to see our way through this pandemic and through this closure and come out on the other side of it, thanks to the generosity of our donors, thanks to the creativity of our performers, and thanks to the hard work of our nonprofit board of directors. There's a great saying that is being used right now by actors and creatives and theaters across the country, and that is only intermission, meaning we're just pausing here. So grab a snack, use the restroom, and get ready for our second act, because as is the case for many theaters across the country, including the DIO, for us, this is only intermission.
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 It's only intermission.
Only intermission.
I also really miss the fried chicken.
We'll be back soon.